Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I'm going to try and solve some more puzzles. I'm going to spend about the next half hour and just share my train of thought along the way. As usual, feel free to treat this as a mini training session for yourself, pausing the video along the way. If this is shorter than a half hour, that means, well, there's a good chance I have slipped up. All right, in this first one, it is white to move. And, okay, first thing here, promotion, we got that covered. Black has that covered. And this knight is ready to swipe the pawn. Okay, first move is going to have to be rook to d8. Pins the knight. No knight takes pawn, and then we're ready to go with c8. Next. There is, however, something to check after that, because after rook d8, our back rank is vulnerable. There is queen a1 check. And in that position, we have to block with the rook, or excuse me, the bishop. If we play king to h2, there'd be queen e5 check, and c7 will fall. So I believe how this is going to carry out, rook d8, queen a1, check, bishop d1, and then puzzle solved, or what may end up happening in that position is queen captures bishop, rook captures queen, and then it'll say puzzle solved, knight captures pawn. In that position, the rook should be able to track down the pawn on the queen side, and it'll be a 1 position, white up the exchange. All right, let's see how far it carries out. Put this one on. Yes, and it's important to block with the bishop. Yeah, and it does go with this, and it should be puzzle solved after that one. Yeah. Okay, moving on. Black to move. Okay, first one here, we have a check. Okay, I'm pretty sure I know this one here. After the check, king captures knight, rook captures rook, knight captures rook, and the detail there is that we don't waste any time collecting the knight, and we carry on with advancing the pawn. If we give the check, take the rook, chop, chop, the king is there to stop our pawn, and it's a 1 king and pawn ending for white. So this one here, take the rook and push. There isn't a wonderful knight check. Got that square covered. And this is not a bother. In that position, we could then collect the knight. And the white pawns are not scary enough. We can stop them. And our pawn cannot be stopped. Anything else to test out? Check. King takes knight. Rook takes rook. Yeah, all right. If white doesn't take back the rook, we save the rook. Maybe even push the pawn still. All right, this should be the idea. Check, take the rook, and the key moment, don't take the knight. Push and win. Moving on. Black to move again. Okay, 3 different ways to take the rook, and we can take the queen. Okay. Well, let's look at the bigger fish first. This is a passed pawn. Taking the queen 2 steps away. How are things going to play out there? Okay, if we take the queen, okay, yeah, this rook's going to have to take the queen. For a second, I was thinking this was possible, but we would recapture with the queen. So if we take the queen, rook takes queen, rook takes rook, and this rook is under fire. Now, if it goes here, we can push, and if it goes there, we have the check followed by promotion. Anything else to test out? Probably. After we take the queen, rook takes, rook, and let's say the rook goes here. We can push. No, I'm not so sure that's winning anymore. I mean, there's bishop to e3 to help defend that promotion square. Is there something I'm missing here? Wouldn't be some other capture on this square, would it? No. Pawn, knight takes. This pawn is ready to fall next. I'm missing a key detail here. Pawn takes queen, rook takes rook here. It should be winning, but I'm just not entirely sure how that one's going to play out. This is one that has crossed my mind. If the rook goes to e2 to stop the advance to c2, we can play in that position rook d2. Rook takes rook, pawn takes rook. We'll queen next. And let's say in this position, rook d2, king f1, we could advance. And if rook takes rook, we promote on c1. But what I'm still fuzzy about is this rook e1 move in that position. Guess we could still advance? Maybe still just advancing. If bishop to e3, we still go here. There isn't a great way for white to target that pawn, or knight can improve next to e4. I'm not sure if it's going to carry out that far. It's possible. From e4, there's knight c3 to a2 supporting the promotion. In a way, I guess we can get this one by elimination. The first move, at least. I don't see what else it could be besides swiping the queen. So I'm going to put this one on. Okay. And what is it throwing our way? Oh, one of them. Okay. I'm not sure I'm so excited about this puzzle. All right, what was happening exactly if rook e1, c2, bishop e3, rook there, king f1, knight e4, that is a winning path. I'm not really a big fan of this puzzle. All right, I'm going to give it a thumbs down. I feel like it should have carried out a little bit more. Okay, let's go with another one here. Black to move. Okay, this one is clearer to me. This one should be a mate. A mate in 3. Recognizing that the pawn is pinned. We have rook captures pawn, only move, rook captures pawn, only move, and rook h1 is checkmate. So mate in 3. 2 and 3. Moving on. Another black to move. Okay. Got a pin. And we also have some pressure on d4. So this is the first one that's crossing my mind. Alrighty. I guess this one is related to move order on move 2. So there's a restriction on the queen. Well, a restriction on the knight and queen. One of them has the responsibility to babysit the bishop. And we could distract one of them. If we start with this capture, knight has to recapture. No time for these ideas. Takes a3, we're on the knight, and then the queen. So I believe this one's going to play out after pawn takes pawn, knight takes pawn, and then in that position, we collect the knight. Yeah. This one here, we take the knight straight away. On move 2, if we take on c3 first, the pawn recaptures, and then the pawn is in a spot to capture on d4. So chop, chop. If we take here first and then here, the pawn can recapture on d4 and the queen stays defending the bishop. Another path is that after these captures and let's say knight captures knight, queen captures knight. Okay, in that position, that's where we first exchange on c3. After the queen's recapturing on d4, our bishop is under fire. So boom, 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 boom. If we take the bishop, our bishop falls. So in that position, we take the knight first, and who knows how white recaptures. That should be the main point. We should be winning a piece in the end. All right, I'm going to put this one on. That is correct. Knight takes knight straight away. And after queen takes queen, we first address the threat and swipe a piece and only then take the bishop. We have won a minor piece. Moving on. Black to move. Okay, this rook's having a tough time. Oh. Okay, I think I see the idea. Mate. This king is having a tough time. Okay, so king here, we're setting up a mate in one. And this is a very dangerous pawn. I mean, if we try to get behind the pawn, there's these ideas. Cutting off the rook, and it's a pretty scary pawn, 2 steps away. So we're going to have to act fast and take advantage of the king. This is where white is most vulnerable, I believe, living on the edge. So after this move, what's the only try? It's going to have to be a king move. Rook move, it's checkmate straight away. So the same can be said for a knight move after the king is on f4. Rook or knight move, we have checkmate, or pawn moves. So let's test out, I guess, this one, because I think I know the answer. If the king goes there, or maybe not. I was thinking bishop d3 to stop the king from escaping, and only then carrying on with the rook check. But I believe after this here, bishop d3, there is knight f5. And the king will be able to slip away. What am I missing? Okay, wait a second. Oh, maybe we still go with that continuation, though, because we could take the knight and then take a pawn. So king f4, if king h5, I have to still test out king h3. King f4, king h5, bishop d3, setting up the mate. I'm not concerned about the check in that position because we would have c4 and our king is stable. Yeah, this one here, bishop there. If knight f5, we take the knight. Pawn takes, king takes, and yet again, okay, in that position, the kings are opposite one another, both on the 5th rank. We're once more setting up a checkmate, and we're also ready to now collect the dangerous pawn, and even just being up one pawn will be sufficient. If this one falls, the white king is out of position in the end. We will be winning that rook and pawn ending. So I believe I have that one covered, this and king h5, and the other test, king h3. We do have a check. King f4, king h3. Oh, forget about that one. We don't have to go in for a bishop check at that stage. King f4, king h3. We give a check, collect the knight, and if the pawn advances, we're there in time to reel it in. Oh, okay. So I'm going to put this one on. I believe king f4 is the way. It is, and it is running with king h5, so let's go with bishop d3. This was the plan all along. I mean, a way to look at it from this position, if the king gets here, I mean, what do we even have? We're not going to be able to collect this pawn. We got to get something fast. So material would be nice. Let's see what white throws our way after this one. Okay, it is running with knight to f5. We take the knight. It does continue to play out. This is a position I had calculated, and it ends right there. Okay, let me just check one other thing. If in this position after bishop d3, if the rook goes to a4, we have multiple ways forward? No, we don't. Okay, so that was an important move to be familiar with. c4 was the only winning way. Alrighty. Moving on. Team Black again. Okay. Well, this is certainly a dangerous pawn. And this pawn is ready to be collected. White is without a flight square. Can we take advantage of that? Now, my first thought is to take here. Rook on c7 takes knight, rook c takes knight. But what concerns me is b7. No, it shouldn't. Yeah, it should. It does concern me still. Ooh. Okay, what just quickly ran through my mind right there was rook takes knight, push, and okay, this was the first thought I had. Rook there, and I think rook here, and we're in trouble. And I believe we're also in trouble after rook c takes knight, b7. Oh, rook takes rook straight away could be promoting. All right, what had crossed my mind is the capture, push, rook takes rook, thinking white had to recapture on c1. Not true, but I believe if white does recapture, white is still winning in that position. It's not good enough to be behind the passed pawn there, because in that position there'd be rook c8 check, and then the pawn could promote and also defend against rook b1, which is nearly checkmate. So what am I missing here? Okay, so let me test this one out then. Rook c takes knight, b7, rook c to b3. Oh, okay, that must be what it is. Okay, I see it now. We still have a knight around that could stop the promotion square. I don't know why I wasn't seeing this knight as a defender against this passed pawn. So we swipe the knight, push, rook there, rook there. We could exchange rooks. Rook recaptures, and then knight d2. Or no. In that position, it would actually be rook takes knight b7, rook b3, rook b1. We don't exchange rooks first. That's going to be the test with this one, I believe. It's important to go to d2 and still keep control over the b file. Yeah, that must be the way, because if you take the knight, b7, rook b3, rook b1, exchange first on b1, and then play knight to d7, we're not able to take advantage of the back rank, because white promotes with check, we take, white recaptures with check, and then we'll be in a position to, scoot the king over and help defend against this passed pawn, not giving black time, in other words, to get to the vulnerable back rank. So I'm going to put this one on. I don't know what else it can be here besides this rook that is under fire, capturing the knight. And now rook c to b3. Oh! my streak is over. Oh, I missed a detail. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, I missed that. Rook C to B3. There's Rook C8 check, followed by promotion. Oh, so that's why the knight has to go here, as a still preventing this idea. Oh, man, I missed that key variation. Oh, well. All right, the streak came to an end there, 71 at the end of the day. I did mention at the start it may be shorter than a half hour, and it is for this one. Okay. Yeah, let me just double check there with if I went with this one. Rook C8 is it's not winning for white, but yeah, we're definitely not winning at this stage. Yeah, I missed the Rook C8 idea. So how it should have played out is going back here. Knight D7 straight away. And if Rook B1, then okay, either Rook to B3. Okay, slipped up. I'm going to call it quits there. Feel free, as usual, to leave any feedback to this video in the comment section below. Hope you enjoyed it and maybe took a thing or two away. That's all for now. Take care. Bye.